Hey guys, welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, hi, I'm Kira and welcome to my little corner here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a declutter of my eyeshadow palettes. I was originally planning to do this video tomorrow, but I'm going to try and do it today because I don't know if I have enough space on my computer to do it. I'm ordering a lot of like 3, 4, 5, and 6 pan eyeshadow palettes lately. So I actually want to go through this because these are actually my personal collection of everyday eyeshadow palettes that I just kind of rotate towards. I want to declutter them and like give them away to somebody who's going to actually use them because I literally use them like once every few months, to be completely honest. And then I switch to my pigments, and then I switch to my single shadows. And I am going to do the same thing with my pigments and my single shadows eventually, but I do know that I'm going to be doing a Natasha Denona order and a ColourPop order, and I'm going to be picking up a bunch of her 5 pans and ColourPop's 5 pans. So I want to have some space in my collection for these products, and like I said, get rid of some other ones that I'm not using. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. But first, I'm going to organize it into what I am decluttering, what I'm giving. I'm probably just gonna end up giving these away to somebody, or maybe I will put them on Poshmark. Maybe, depending on what it is. I might link my Poshmark down below. Who knows? If you guys want to check that out, I've never listed anything on Poshmark, but I have a Poshmark closet, I guess. So yeah, the categories are going to be decluttered, what I am keeping currently, but I can see myself decluttering in the future, and then what I am personally keeping because I am personally very, very attached to it. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so I scooched this up a little farther so that way I could have a little bit more space to do like the swatches and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my trios first. So first one I am doing is the original Walking on Eggshells trio. Looks like this. This is the original that Wet n Wild ever released. So I am going to go ahead and swatch these. Eyelid, crease, and brow bone shade. Who misses these little trios? So these are it on my finger. This is the eyelid shade, crease shade, and the brow bone shade. So this is like an iconic trio on YouTube because this pink eyelid shade is honestly perfect for like wedding looks, as you guys can see from the swatches. That crease shade though, would not use for a crease shade. It's very shimmery and very, very dark. You definitely need to have another color going into it. But these are the swatches of the original Walking on Eggshells, and I have such nostalgia with this. I am not getting rid of this. Okay, so the next trio we're going to talk about is this one called Sweet as Candy. So this is actually the first trio I ever purchased from Wet n Wild, just like in general. It was one of my first like eyeshadow palettes ever. It's kind of a lot like Walking on Eggshells in the sense that it has the pink, the brown, and the white. The white in the Walking on Eggshells is a little more gold tone, and this pink is a lot darker compared to Walking on Eggshells. So anyways, let's go ahead and show you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and swatch. This one is well loved. I will let you guys know that now. This is the Sweet as Candy on my fingers, and let's go ahead and swatch it next to Walking on Eggshells. So Walking on Eggshells is right there, and then this is the Sweet as Candy original. You can honestly see that the brown in the Sweet as Candy is a little more cool tone and a little more patchy. So, again, for nostalgia reasons, I am going to keep this. Okay, so the next trio I'm going to talk about is this one in Spoiled Brat. This honestly fits my aesthetic, like my style that I had years and years and years ago before I started my YouTube channel. I loved, like, you know, blacks and silvers and just, like, darker colors. So, anyways, this is Spoiled Brat. I don't even think they make this in the new formula anymore, which is such a shame. Alright, so these are the swatches for Spoiled Brat. That pink is really nice. That silver, though. That's Spoiled Brat right there. And again, this just like fits my aesthetic so well from like back in the day when I was younger, before I was a mother. And they don't make this anymore, so I am not going to declutter this one either. I've wanted to do a declutter and film a declutter for so long. Like, I've actually fallen in love with the declutters on YouTube, so please forgive me if I suck at this. But the next trio we're going to be talking about is Don't Steal My Thunder. This is another one that fits my aesthetic from when I was younger, and also I don't believe that they make anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch them. Wet n Wild just has such a good formula for the price. Even back then, they had such a good formula. So that is Don't Steal My Thunder. You can see, especially compared to Spoiled Brat, the silvers in here just do not compare. That is a really good black shade. And that white was pretty nice too for the price that you were getting from Wet n Wild. I believe at the time these were only like a couple bucks. I even think you could find them at like a Dollar Tree. So you could even get them for like $1. So again, nostalgia reasons, and they don't make this anymore. So I will not be decluttering this one either. Next is the Velour Vixen Trio. It looks like this. I think I got this for Halloween, like 2017 maybe, or 2018, I don't know. This is Velour Vixen. This is one of my favorite trios that they had. This brow bone shade is just so buttery smooth. So these are the swatches on my fingers, and then Velour Vixen is going right here. Just look at that black. See, that burgundy shade could be better, but it has a matte brow bone color in it that's perfect for me. And that black with the sparkles is just so gorgeous. Even if this burgundy color isn't the best, this is just such a good trio. It's such a good trio to have in my collection, and again, this is one I am not going to declutter. I'm going to keep that one also. This is I Got Good Jeans. I got this from a Dollar Tree not very long ago, and I got one for my brother's girlfriend also, so I had two. So this is blues, basically. They don't make this either. You guys are gonna get so mad at me if you want to see me actually declutter stuff. I am very attached to makeup. So these are the swatches of I Got Good Jeans. Something I'm feeling with these is that the newer formula, like to the quads as opposed to the trios, is a lot more powdery than the trios were. Like this blue right here is very powdery. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch. Look at that gold. See, these are very, very powdery, but extremely pigmented and super duper pretty. Like, oh my gosh. Like, again, I'm not going to declutter this, but you just could not go wrong with the Wet n Wild trios back then. Like, seriously. Okay, next is, this one is called I Dream of Greenie. I got this in a Christmas set years and years and years and years and years ago, and I never ever saw it again after I got it from that Christmas set, so I'm so glad I got it in that Christmas set. But it's just greens. This one is a little stiff and hard. Like, you can just tell the formula differences, because Wet n Wild has definitely had different formulas for their trios, and over the years, especially now that they don't have their trios anymore. Like those greens though, the only one that I found that does not swatch very, very good in this quad is the eyelid shade. It's kind of very lackluster, especially compared to what they labeled as the crease shade and the brow bone shade. But again, I mean, it's still really nice. Okay, so this one is broken. It's the I'm Getting Sunburnt one. I don't think that they make this one anymore either. And I can't get this one, which makes me so sad that it is broken and it just went all over the place, which makes me even sadder. I am still going to swatch these. I have a few shades that are broken, so yeah. I have a few things that are broken in my collection. So this is I'm Getting Sunburnt. I originally went into this thinking I was going to declutter the broken ones, like throw them away. But like when I swatched this, I mean like, come on you guys, like that's just... This is one I can see myself decluttering in the future, but for right now, I just want to have a few more moments with this one to revisit it and play with the formula and the colors a little bit more and make sure that I won't end up regretting decluttering it. My computer is literally covered in makeup always. So this is Silent Treatment. So before they switched to the quads, they changed their packaging to this all black matte kind of look. So I'm glad that I literally have like a stage of each of their products. It's just the craziest thing. So Silent Treatment was another one that really fit my aesthetic back in the day when I was younger. And that's why I loved it so much. This eyelid shade is just like life. Like, I'll show you guys. It was so freaking pretty. I used to wear that shade a lot. And I don't know. I'm just not ready to declutter any of my trios, I guess. I don't know. I kind of had a, I kind of, I kind of had a feeling I knew what I was going to be decluttering. But anyways, this one, I'm not going to declutter either. I just don't feel like I can declutter any Wet n Wild shadows, especially like those little trios. So this is the Mega Glow eyeshadow trio in Jade. This came in their Crystal Caverns collection, and I actually love the Crystal Caverns collection. So this is obviously a trio, but it's different. So I have not gotten to use this one yet. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch for you guys. I don't have any room, so I think we're going to have to go right here. So that one's a little tough, but it is pigmented. Yeah, that one, no. Okay, so that was tough, but it is pigmented. This one is not very pigmented, and that is just freaking gorgeous. Like, that reminds me of Alaskan Ice Supreme Frost from Jeffree Star in the Northern Lights palette. So herein lies the question, do you get rid of a palette just because you have too many? Because I know I'll use this for tutorials, so I have something other than the trio that's green from Wet n Wild. I have something else to use, but I just did not like this shade at all. But of course, there are shades in the other Wet n Wild trios that I just am not a fan of. Like, I was not a fan of that one swatched or this one swatched. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this and play around with it for a little bit. I can see myself decluttering it in the future. I am going to try and do more declutters. This is my Smashbox eyeshadow trio in Shutter Speed. This is the only high-end product in this whole collection that I have, at least for right now, because I am doing a Natasha Denona order. Natasha Denona is like so freaking luxury. This black though, I like black gray. Okay, so this is the one from Smashbox. Let's go ahead and swatch it right here. It is not very pigmented whatsoever. That black gray is just not very pigmented at all. But it is my only high-end product in this collection per se. So because of that, I am going to go ahead and keep this. I can see myself decluttering it in the future when I get other high-end products to reference, especially since that shade is just such a disappointment. But this is a really good trio to have if you're learning how to do smoky eyes. And last one in my trios is this Morphe 3B eyeshadow palette. It looks like this. I got this because I really wanted to try out the Morphe formulas, but I didn't want to get the big palette, and I seen this on Ulta.com, so I decided to go ahead and try this. I wish I had thought a little bit more about it, because honestly, this is not really a palette that I can use going by itself. Like, I can literally use like 1 or 2 shades of this for a look, and then I have to go into like 2 or 3 other palettes. But anyways, let's go ahead and swatch this. It has a camel, a dark brown, and then a pink. I've thought about decluttering this so many times, especially with it swatched right there, but because this is my only Morphe product in this collection, and I know so many people love Morphe, that is literally the only reason I'm keeping this until I can get other products that I like from Morphe in my collection. So I can totally see myself decluttering this in the future. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk eyeshadow quads. I definitely have more eyeshadow quads in this collection than I have anything else, so this one will probably take the longest to go through. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Wet n Wild Rebel Rose House of Thorns eyeshadow palette. I love the aesthetic of the Rebel Rose collection, and for those of you that don't actually know the story, this was a collection that my grandfather purchased for me before he passed away. He ended up passing away the year that this came out, actually. And I love it so much. I have almost the whole entire collection. I think I was just missing the cream blush, and I didn't like it. So that is House of Thorns. Of course, of course, of course. For nostalgic reasons, I won't be getting rid of anything from the Rebel Rose collection, but I will go ahead and swatch them for you guys, so you guys can have reference to these products. This is Secret Garden Rendezvous. Again, the shimmers in these palettes are fantastic. It's the mattes down here that suck. But again, my grandfather ended up spending like $80-something on this whole collection for me because he knew I wanted it so, so bad. And it's the last thing that he ever purchased for me, that Secret Garden Rendezvous. Secret Garden Rendezvous is actually my favorite one out of the whole entire, like the whole three trios. I literally feel like I'm about to lose a freaking nail, like no joke. Sorry, Brandon's at work and he just texted me saying that his power went out at the store. So again, not getting rid of this. This is Bed of Roses. The colors in here are just, in these quads, are just so, so beautiful. But again, I just feel like Wet n Wild abandoned the formula they had patented down when it came to this collection. So it ended up not, the formulas and the shadows ended up not being the best. That is Bed of Roses right there. And just for reference, I am keeping this also. So when Wet n Wild discontinued their trios, they ended up bringing out these quads. And I don't think I have all the quads that they came out with, but I do have some of them. This is the original Walking on Eggshells trio that they originally had, and I just swatched out of order. I'm so stupid. I was distracted. I thought this was the trio. So they ended up adding this transition shade, which is something I talked about when I swatched to the trio, was that it needed another shade to blend. But in my opinion, it needs something a little bit darker than that transition shade that they added, and I just lost a nail. But whatever. But Wet n Wild's formula, especially back then, even now, their formula is amazing for the price. I so recommend any of these Wet n Wild, like, they're 5 pans now, which I'll show you the 5 pan swatch later because I have them all. And this is Sweet as Candy. I'm definitely keeping my Walking on Eggshells. I'm sorry, Wet n Wild is like, Wet n Wild is my thing. So this is Sweet as Candy. This is the one that I compare Walking on Eggshells to so many times. The Sweet as Candy trio was the one that I picked up when I first got into makeup. And that is Sweet as Candy. You can totally see Walking on Eggshells pulls more neutral, whereas Sweet as Candy pulls more cool toned. Again, keeping my Sweet as Candy quad. It's just amazing. This is Silent Treatment in the quad. I love Silent Treatment. Again, it just fit my aesthetic so well when I was younger. And the trio I originally had for Silent Treatment did break, so I ended up purchasing this quad when they came out with it. Their eyeshadows, in my opinion, Wet n Wild's eyeshadows are powdery. They are quite powdery, but they're pigmented and they blend so well, and if you're new to makeup, it's just able to create such a unique color story, and it's able to teach you how to make color stories. So I'm keeping this. And then the last one is Petalette in the quad. So for y'all that don't know, when Wet n Wild had the trios, they also had big, like, 8 or 10 pans, and Petalette was one of those 8 or 10 pans. But when they came out with the quads, they shortened Petalette down and made it into a quad instead. And I have the original, like, 8 or 10 pan or whatever it was that they came out with for Petalette. I have the original, which is why I got the quad. So Petalette swatched right here. You guys can see just like that little bit makes such so pigmented, which is why I always recommend Wet n Wild shadows to anybody who's starting out their collection, anybody who's starting out with their kits. Even though I don't personally keep my Wet n Wild quads or trios in my professional kit, I do recommend these. They're so good. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and talk about these. These two ColourPop wads. I got these in mystery boxes. So this is the What a Hoot wad. Never actually tried ColourPop's wads before, so I'm very excited. So this is obviously a glitter. This pulls more neutral. So I'm going to swatch it right here. Oh, that glitter. I don't have any type of quad that has a glitter in it like that. Oh my gosh, that just makes me want to get those 5 pans from ColourPop even more now. Oh, so gorgeous. I love ColourPop. ColourPop is another brand that you just cannot go wrong with. So I'm keeping this, in case you didn't know. And then this is the Nook Ink one. This also came in a mystery box that I unboxed earlier this year. So this one pulls more bluey green, but it does have that glitter in it. Ooh, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That would go really good with the Wet n Wild quad, the I Dream of Greeny trio, or even that Jade palette from Wet n Wild. ColourPop is just a step above other brands when it comes to pigmentation and product beauty. I'm keeping this also. Even though I don't really know what kind of looks I will create with that, I'm keeping it. Next, I have these e.l.f. Bite Size Chateaus. I fell in love with the Mint Melt collection when they were talking about releasing it. So I got the quads that they came out with. This is Chocolate Mint. So this is the more neutral one of the bunch. So that is it swatched. So let's go ahead and... So you can kind of see like the pigmentation on these, especially next to the ColourPop ones. Like that green is just nowhere near ColourPop. Like, even though I know that I have this in a better shade for ColourPop, like look at that green compared to ColourPop. I'm still keeping this because it's Mint Melt and I loved that collection. This is the Mint to Be one. And, oh my gosh, this is just all greens. Alright, so this is Meant to Be. Again, I think ColourPop has them beat. Yeah, ColourPop has them beat in the sense of they are definitely better at the greens than what e.l.f. was able to create. But I really enjoy these little bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. I mean, like, look, they're tiny, but there's no wasted space. And e.l.f. does have a decent formula when it comes to their eyeshadows. So this one I lusted after for forever when they released their bite-sized shadows. It's the Rose Water one, and I don't know why I lusted after this so hardcore. I just ended up falling in love with the color story. And this formula honestly feels different than the Mint Melt ones, to be completely honest. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and swatch these. Going onto my hand with this shade right there. Oh my gosh, like beauty. That is just beauty. You can totally see a difference in quality from pigmentation because these are the Wet n Wild shadows from a few years ago, and this is our quality standard nowadays for shadows. So in case you didn't know, I kept all my bite-sized shadows. So next is this Wet n Wild Star Luxe Shadow Quad in Jupiter Recognizes. What collection is this from? So, I've never used this. I've never used this. But it looks really pretty. It does look really pretty. I have so many quads that I literally have to start swatching up here now. I hope you guys can see. Those glitters look really, really nice. I've never used that, so because of the fact that I've never used it, I am keeping it so I can use it and test it out and see what I think of it. Alright, this next Wet n Wild Starluxe quad is in Earth Day Suit. I would have put Earth Day Suit for the other one, titled the other one Earth Day Suit since it's more neutral, and this one is more blue, and I think blues when I think of Jupiter, like blues and greens, so I feel like Jupiter Recognizes would be a better name for this one than Earth Day Suit, and Earth Day Suit would be a better name for Jupiter Recognizes, so some of these feel quite stiff. I've never used this one either, so I'm gonna keep this one just because I've never ever used it. That pigmentation, no. I mean, those two are very lackluster, but wow. Alright, this next one is a Wet n Wild Fantasy Maker. It's a pigment palette. So I don't think it's going to swatch like an eyeshadow palette. This is in Pink Palooza, which I am gravitating more towards these pink tones. No joke. And this one I have actually, I seem to have used. Okay, this one is very glittery. A glitter glue feeling. So the glitters in here are different than the other ones in the other palette. Very different. You guys can see that it's got a glue mixed into it. So it's not opaque like those glitters. So I feel like this is probably, I think, one that's actually meant to be a Halloween palette. If I'm being completely honest. So I am going to keep this for right now. But I can see myself decluttering it, especially since the pink was the one I was the most excited about, and it's very, very, very lackluster. Alright, ooh. Okay, so this is another Fantasy Maker palette that I got on sale, clearly, in Jungle Juice. I've never ever used this one, so I'm sure you guys can guess that this one is going to be kept, just because I literally just opened it just to swatch it. I literally just opened it just to swatch it, so, okay, yeah, ooh, those two felt really buttery. But I feel like these are gonna let me down as much as the other one did. Yep. Okay, those two mattes and that glitter did swatch pretty freaking well. So I'm gonna have to keep this one just because, again, it's new and I've never used it. But this one feels a lot different in, like, in formula. So I'm gonna keep this one to try it out. Alright, this one I'm very sad about because this is one of my favorite palettes whatsoever. It was the Profusion Mini Rubies palette. It's broken, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it. This was just my favorite quad for so long. And when I saw it was broken, it just broke my heart. It broke my heart in so many different ways. So, yeah. I was able to create so many beautiful looks with this palette. And I'm probably not going to declutter it, because even though it is broken, I mean, like, look at those. Look at those. That's the broken shade, by the way. I mean, that's really, really pretty. So this is one I can see myself decluttering in the future. But for now, like, I don't have another Profusion mini palette, and I just love it so much. You guys, I mean this in the nicest way possible. I legit had to just clean off my arm because I was covered in swatches, but I literally felt like Tati because I was covered in swatches. I was covered in makeup. So these are some quads from Almay. This one is in Own It. I remember feeling very lacklustered with this quad, and just all these quads in general. I remember people, yeah, see, this does not even show up on my skin. Can you even see that? Not really. People were just very lacklustered with this quad, but because it was such a big thing, I'm keeping it for right now, but I can see myself decluttering this in the future when I get a bigger collection. This one is an Individualist. I mean, I love the packaging on these. The packaging on these were super cute. So this one is more chocolatey. So, yeah, see. Even that one has a tough time showing up on my skin. It's just the formula of these suck. They're very lackluster compared to especially what we're used to nowadays. And then this one is Making a Statement. This one is called Making a Statement. It's a purple one. And I don't really like shadow quads like this that don't actually have the pans separated. Just bothers me. Bothers me. Because I'm OCD about stupid stuff when it comes to makeup. I like this because of those two purple shades. Those two purple shades swatched pretty freaking nice. But, again, these are quads I can see myself decluttering in the future when I have a better collection. This one is broken. This is my e.l.f. one in Golden Goddess. So this one's really broken. Like, really broken. I don't even have the base shade no more. Like, nope. So this one is it really gonna be the first one I declutter? I mean, this is literally a quad. It's, like, destroyed. But, like, that's really pretty. But, again, because of how destroyed it is, this one is one I'm actually going to get rid of because of how destroyed it is. I might repurchase it, who knows, because, I don't know. I'm going to use this one last time, and I'll let you guys know in the video when I get rid of it. So this one, I'm able to actually show you guys the formula. It's called Happy Hour. These shadows, like, are it's very small. It's very small. It's hard to dig my finger into these to swatch these. But here is Happy Hour. I'm going to swatch them down here. Ooh, I love that purple. Oh, wow, I love that purple. Yeah, I might have to go get Golden Goddess again from e.l.f. because, oh my gosh, like, that is really pretty. Like, that's very pigmented. So, keeping this, because wow. So this one is Hard Candy. It is in the shade Pink Interlude, and I love the packaging of this. However, I do not like the raised palette products. I don't like that. I think that this is so stupid. It makes it hard for me to use. I think that these are actually baked shadows. Jackson, how are you asleep with Kai out there screaming? So these are baked shadows. Ugh, that is really pretty. That is really pretty. You see, that's my issue. I went in thinking I was going to declutter this, but, like, the eyeshadows themselves swatch really pretty. Okay, this I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep it, even though I went in thinking I was going to declutter it. I'm going to keep it because it did swatch really pretty. I can see myself decluttering this in the future, though. Okay, now we're in the 5-pan. So first 5-pan I have is this from ColourPop. It is the Make It Black version. It's called Make It Fearless. This is the only 5-pan eyeshadow palette I have from ColourPop, but I know I love the formula of this, and I'm going to get the other 5-pans. The Statement 5-pans that they had, not the... They have so many 5-pans now. But, so buttery and smooth. I need my thumb to swatch these. And I love palettes like this that are just, like, super slim, and they're just, like, to the point. Just make it to the point. Okay, wow. I love ColourPop's formula. I knew I loved ColourPop's formula, but I am keeping this, for sure. I'm keeping this. Alright, so this is what I was waiting for, because these are the Wet n Wild 5-pans. Alright, so this is the... I've never used these on camera, because I literally just got them. Oh, they're so hard to freaking open. Just jam my finger into it. This is Walking on Eggshells, what it is now. This is Walking on Eggshells now. So this was the eyelid shade, the crease shade, the transition shade, and the brow bone shade, and this is the shade that they added for it to be a 5-pan. I can totally see them making it a 6-pan because that's kind of like what they've been doing, but I'd be perfectly happy with it staying at a 5-pan, to be completely honest, because I definitely feel like Wet n Wild has perfected their eyeshadow formula. For sure. I'm not decluttering any of these. I'm just swatching these and showing them to you guys in case you guys are on the verge of purchasing them. Maybe you want to purchase them, have not decided yet. So this one is Sun Days. So I'm gonna have a tough time opening this. So this is Sundays. So this is the more neutral one. This is one that they've never had before. So this is a brand new one. Thought I was getting a phone call. Alright, so this is Sundays. Like I said, I'm keeping all of these. It's very warm toned. Very warm toned. Okay, this is Camouflaunt, so please correct me if I am wrong, but wasn't Camouflaunt a 8 or 10 pan or some shit like that? It was one of the bigger ones, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was one of the bigger ones with Comfort Zone and all that. So again, I'm not getting rid of these. But it is around Christmas time when I'm filming this. I don't know if it'll go up by Christmas. So you can totally get Wet n Wild gift sets. That glitter, though, oh my god. So this is Go Commando. Again, this is another one I think was a bigger one. I could be wrong, though. I've never used any of these, so these are like the first impression swatches. But I know I'm not getting rid of any of these because I freaking love Wet n Wild. Like I said, they have perfected their eyeshadow formula so well. This is Petalette. So again, it was a bigger pan, and then they made it into a 4 pan, and now it is a 5 pan. I've never swatched this brand new formula for Petalette. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, that was lackluster. That's pretty nice. So this one is called My Lucky Charm. I'm pretty sure this is a brand new one. I've never ever heard of a My Lucky Charm for anything Wet n Wild. But I do have a few green palettes from Wet n Wild, so I have hope that this will compete with my ColourPop one. Because I don't need all these greens. So I want to obviously use these up and declutter them eventually. We'll declutter the ones I don't want. So that is my Lucky Charm right there. Alright, so this is the last stack I have, and it's going to be fairly quickly because I don't have that many 6 pans. So I have the City Mini Palette by Shayla from Maybelline. So this is a collaboration with Shayla on YouTube, I believe, right? I think so. It looks like this. I love this palette. I am gonna go ahead and swatch it, but I am letting you guys know now. It is not going anywhere. I love the City Mini palettes from Maybelline. I want to get more, but these are so gorgeous. I really want to get the Gigi Hadid ones. Didn't Gigi Hadid do some City Mini palettes with Maybelline? I don't know, but Maybelline has the most amazing formula for 6 pans. Like, look at that. That's beautiful. The next one I have is another City Mini palette from Maybelline. It is in the shade Diamond District. I want to, like I said, I want to get more City Mini palettes because they have such an amazing formula from Maybelline. I mean, they're so buttery smooth, too. Like, so buttery smooth. Ugh. Look at that. It's a shame that they couldn't perfect this formula in the nudes palettes because the nudes palettes would have been big if it had this formula. I'm not a fan of the layout though, I'm not gonna lie. Like the layout of these palettes, I'm not a fan of. Okay, that shade. Okay, that's very cool tone for, yeah. Again, I'm not decluttering my City Mini palette. I'm not doing it. And then this is the City Mini palette. This is the High Rise Sunset. I believe it's the all matte one. If I remember correctly, this is all matte. yeah, this is all matte. It's always nice to have an all matte palette in your collection. Of course, I am somebody who does not need an all matte palette because I have 400 matte palettes that can go with this, but because I'm such a fan of the formula, I won't be getting rid of this either. But I am swatching them for you guys for reference. I'm like the shittiest declutterer ever because I've literally said I was only going to get rid of one palette and it's been 40 minutes. But you guys are going to be so proud of me because this one I think I am going to get rid of too. This is the LA Colors eyeshadow palette in Sombra de Ojos? No, Midnight Tease. I have no idea why I said that, why I thought that was the color. It's called Midnight Tease and I'm going to try and get it open. It looks like this. It's a all shimmer, I think, palette, but it's not the best quality. You guys can see, as I put it right underneath Maybelline, the horrific quality of these. I have used these this one a few times, honestly. I was able to make some really pretty looks, but it's just time for that to go. Okay, and then the last one is this Smackers little eyeshadow thing. I just fell in love with the packaging of this. This is an Easter thing, but I think I'm actually going to give this to my niece because I feel like she will love this so freaking much. And I mean, the quality honestly isn't that bad. It's just for me being a YouTuber and having all the palettes that I have, it's not up to par with my other palettes. So again, this is one that I'm probably just going to get rid of. I'm going to give this to my niece actually. I'm going to probably use it one more time and then give it to my niece. Yeah, yeah. So 41 minutes later, well 42 actually technically, 42 minutes later, 600 eyeshadow palettes, and I only decluttered 3 from my collection. Please don't get mad at me, you guys. But anyways, it's my channel and it's my makeup collection. If I want to have all this makeup in my collection, then I guess I will. But I am going to work on being better about my collection and decluttering as the year goes on because I need to be more ruthless with my makeup. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell, of course. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Alright, bye guys.